The language of leaving. How coaching culture reframes betrayal as growth. Oh no, what have we just done? She said those words twice, almost a year apart. The first time was July 2021, just after she told me our marriage was over. At that moment, I did not know she was already having an affair. The second time was June 2022, the day she walked out my door for the last time, after saying she did not want to send mixed messages. The same words, the same tone, but spoken by two very different people. Between those moments lies a story not of clarity or empowerment, but of ideology, confusion, and the quiet destruction that happens when coaching culture convinces someone that pain is progress. From "I'd marry you all again" to manifesting a new life. Just 3 months before the affair, in March 2021, she told me she would marry me all over again. It was not a throwaway line. It was heartfelt, said by someone who still seemed anchored to the life we had built together. But underneath that, another process was already in motion. She had been hired in January 2020 to run the organization's new learning and development program. It was based on the coaching room's integral leadership framework, combining neurolinguistic programming, neurosemantics, and Ken Wilber's integral theory. As part of learning the program so she could later deliver it to her staff, she was given direct access to workplace coaching through the same people who designed it. The more she absorbed the material, the more she began filtering our marriage through its language of alignment, blocks, and growth. By June 2021, she had reframed our relationship as something she had outgrown. When the affair began, it was not presented, even to herself, as betrayal. It was the manifestation of a new life. In her eyes, she was not being unfaithful, she was being authentic. She was not breaking a marriage, she was removing the block to her evolution. That block, in her new language, was me. September 2021, when the dream collapsed. The fantasy did not last. Rob walked away in mid-September, just weeks after she left home. Overnight, the promise of a new, aligned, and abundant life fell apart. But she could not turn back. To do so would have meant admitting that her breakthrough was really a breakdown. The coaching room's language made that impossible. She had been trained to see discomfort as growth, resistance as fear, and pain as feedback from the universe. When the reality of what she had done began to sink in, she did what the ideology had taught her to do: reframe it. She could not see her collapse as a mistake. She had to see it as a lesson. October 2021, the door left open. She moved out in October, but she did not leave. Every week she came back to talk, to do laundry, to spend time. She still called this place home, even though she had chosen to live elsewhere. I left the door open, literally and emotionally. I still wanted to save our marriage. I believed that if I could just keep the connection alive, the woman I loved might resurface. What I did not realize was that I had become her safety net, the person she could fall back on if the new life she had manifested did not hold. She could move forward without ever feeling the full consequence of her choices. I absorbed the fallout. November 2021, the deck conversation. Only weeks after she moved out, we had a tense exchange on the back deck. I told her, I could have taken the easy option and just walked away. She looked at me and said, "If you had done that, I would have lost respect for you." It was a statement that redefined everything. I was expected to fight for her, to prove my love by enduring the pain she had caused. If I walked away, it meant I did not care enough. It was not respect she was talking about, it was control. She needed to know that, despite everything, she was still the one being chosen. I did keep fighting. I tried every way I could think of to bring her back, but she dug her heels in deeper, certain that walking away was an act of strength, not destruction. That is what coaching ideology does so effectively. It recasts detachment as courage. February 2022, the apology. By February, my mental health was unraveling. The anxiety had turned into agoraphobia. I could barely leave the house. After seeing our son play cricket, she came home, jumped on my bed, and said she was sorry for what she was doing to me. She meant it. I could see that. But nothing changed. That apology was one of the most painful moments of my life because it showed she knew. She saw the damage and kept doing it anyway. It was not confusion. It was compartmentalisation. Her apology did not end the behaviour. It just cleaned her conscience. I call it emotional laundering, a way to express remorse without altering course. She was living in two realities, the real woman with me and the mindset version of herself outside. The workplace paradox, rewarding the struggle. Around that time, I overheard several of her end-of-week catch-ups with her boss, spread over maybe a month or so. The tone was always the same, reflective, heavy, full of self-assessment and talk of working through things. Much of it revolved around our marriage, yet somehow this counted as professional development. I cannot say for certain what her employer saw. She could easily have been performing at a high level. That was who she was, the type who gave 100% and still felt she was falling short. But the question still stands. At a time when the organization was shedding teaching staff because of COVID, why was she being rewarded with a pay rise? Her managing director had praised the end of our marriage as proof that the learning and development program worked, saying it showed that the same mindset tools could be applied both personally and professionally. So was the pay rise recognition of her job performance, or of her visible growth within the ideology? Even if she was doing the job well, the timing and justification blurred the line between achievement and alignment. In that kind of culture, struggle itself becomes a sign of progress. Whether the raise was earned through competence or conviction, it still reinforced the same message. The system rewards transformation, even when that transformation dismantles a life. June 2022. The washing machine. By June, the pattern had solidified. She still came over, still did her washing, still talked about friendship and care. That was when I wrote the journal entry. The one Facebook reminded me of a year later, and again today. In it, I describe her contradictions, how she said she did not want to send mixed messages, how she showed care while insisting she was done. When she was with me, she was present, emotional, real. But the moment she walked out the door, she became someone else, the mindset version, detached and self-assured. It was not just distance, it was ideological possession. Coaching had taught her how to perform growth while bypassing guilt. That day, when she left, she paused at the door and said it again. "Oh no, what have we just done?" It echoed the first time she had said it, back when this all began. The same phrase, but spoken by someone who no longer recognized what it meant. The safety net. Across those 9 months, I remained the constant, the one she could fall back on if the new life did not materialize. She never found someone to transfer those emotions to. I was always there, waiting, hoping. She knew I wanted her. She knew I loved her. She also knew she could rely on that love to cushion every reckless decision. I was the safety net for her self-discovery. But love cannot survive when it is treated as insurance. The coaching room's ideology told her that alignment and truth mattered more than loyalty or empathy. It trained her to see emotional detachment as integrity. So when she looked at me, she did not see a husband or father. She saw a symbol of who she used to be, the version she needed to transcend. Aftermath and reflection. Looking back, I can see the pattern clearly. March 2021, she would marry me all again. June 2021, the affair begins, she manifests her new life. September 2021, Rob leaves, the ideology collapses. February 2022, she apologizes without changing. June 2022, she walks out, repeating the same words that began it all. Each moment was framed by the same belief system, that the universe rewards those brave enough to break things open. What she could not see was that courage is not measured by how many lives you disrupt. It is measured by what you are willing to face in yourself once you have done it. The Coaching Rooms program gave her language to justify everything: self-actualization, authenticity, growth, alignment. But none of it helped her integrate the human cost of her decisions. It is the kind of ideology that leaves people hollow, free from guilt, yet never truly free. The last oh no. When I think about those 2 moments now, July 2021 and June 2022, I hear the same sentence carrying opposite meanings. The first, "Oh no, what have we just done?" was an instinctive flash of conscience. The second was a performance of closure. The first ended with us cuddling on the outdoor setting. The second ended with a kiss on the forehead and a longing goodbye. The same words, the same voice, but separated by an ideology that had rewritten what truth meant. In the end, the washing machine kept spinning, and so did the story she told herself about transformation. I was still there, the man who refused to stop believing in the woman who once said she would marry me all again. She said it twice, once when she began the undoing, and once when she realized it was complete. The same words, but by then, there was nothing left to manifest.